This is the solution to the Java MOOC course, Java Programming Exercise Part 517, named Money. The programming exercise asks us that in the payment card exercise, we used a double type object variable to store the amount of money. In real applications, this is not the approach you want to take, since, as we have seen, calculating with doubles is not exact. A more reasonable way to handle amounts of money is create an own class for that purpose. Here's a layout for the class. We have a public class money that has two instance variables, euros and cents, a constructor that initializes these variables, a method named euros to return the value of the euros, and a method cents to return the value of the cents. Note, these values are labeled final. Now also a string method to print out the money, and if the value of the cents is less than 0, a 0 will be added in front of the cents, otherwise there will be an empty string representing this 0, so 0 won't show up in our results. Now what it explains here is the word final used in the definition of the object variables catches attention. The result of this word is that the values of these object variables cannot be modified after they have been set in the constructor. What this basically means is once the value for these variables is set in our constructor, we cannot modify them. As previously we used to perform some arithmetics with this value and change the values, like in the dating app also we used this day equals to this day plus 1 and etc. But once labeled as final, we cannot change this, and thus they are labeled as immutable, which is also given here. The objects of money class are unchangeable, so immutable. And it explains that if we want to, example, increase the amount of money, we must create a new object to represent that new amount of money. Just as we created a clone while returning an object as a method value, right? Returning an object as a method's return value, we created the new object and change the value of that new object. We are going to increase the amount of money in the very similar way. Next, we'll create a few operations for processing money. Now we move on to the part 1 that says plus. First, create the method public money plus that has a return type of money and also takes a parameter that is the object of class money that returns a new money object that is worth the total amount of the object whose method was called and the object that is received as the parameter. The basis for the method is following. So this is the base template for this method right here, and here is our test example. So first of all, an object A is created and its euros is initialized at 10 with 0 cents, and similarly object B is created with its euros at 5 and cents at 0. Now another object C is created. That object calls method A's plus method and passes object B as a parameter. So what is happening here is the method plus of object A is called and object B is passed as parameter to this method. Here this method is called for object A, and the parameter money addition is our object B, and the result of this method is this new money. That's the return value, and that's the result that is assigned to object C of the same money class. So if we print out A, B and C, we'll have 10, 5 and 15 euros. Again, if A equals to A plus C is called, then now our value of A is already 10 plus C has a value of 15, so the result will be 25. And what it says is the old 10 euros at the end of the strand disappears and the Java garbage collector takes care of it. So this value that used to exist previously is now a garbage value, and Java garbage collector takes care of this value. So first of all, let's do this. Okay, we have money.java class, and we need to create a method with a return type of money. The name is plus, that takes a parameter money addition as object, and this returns, okay, let's give it the value of, what was that, it was new money. Okay, new money, return new money. And what is this new money? New money is object new money, right, equals to money. Let's give it a value of 10 comma 5 for the time being. Okay, now it's done. But this parameter that I've just initialized here must be the values of the two objects that's being used right here. First of all, object A, then object B. First of all, let me copy this, okay, and let me paste this as our test codes. So okay, yeah, give a little bit of tab spacing. Okay, now what we can do here is we have a method euros and cents, right? So in order to initialize this object, let's give a value of euros and cents. And what are these euros and cents? Since both of these values are integers, what we can do is int euros equals to something and int cents is equals to something. Now what will be the result? The result will be this dot. We can get cents by calling this euros method. Euros, that returns us integer value and also addition, right? So what we can do is addition dot euros. Okay, similarly this dot cents will be called for object A, and our object B, which is represented as addition here, addition dot cents. And if we pass this euros and cents in here, then we can print the value for money C. Let's see if we get the desired output or not. Let's run the program and see if we have successfully been able to do that or not. Yeah, as we can see, we have got 10, 5 and 15 and A plus C, and we need to have 25, 5 and 15, 25, 5 and 15 euros as our output. Okay, now moving on to the part 2. Let's create the method public boolean less than money compared that returns true if the money object on which the method is called on has a lesser value than the money object given as a parameter. So we have 3 objects created here, 10, 3 and 5. And is A less than B? That's false, so we have false. And is B less than C? That's true, so true will be printed. So we need to create this method. So after this, we're going to create a method public that has a return type boolean less than, and we're going to have money compared, right? But wait, what I just realized is, what happens if this cents becomes greater than 100? What if I'm provided with the value of 99 cents and 5 cents? So well, in that case, what I can do is, if cents is greater than or is equals to 100, right, and then what I can do is euros is equals to euros plus 1 and cents is equals to cents minus 100. Okay, so if I have like 99 cents and let's make it 1 cent, then our value for object C should be 10, 15, 16 cents. Do I get that? Yeah, I get the 16 cents. Okay, now moving on. Okay, of less than money compared. So how are we comparing two values? So for that, what we can do is let's just compare the values, and if that value is okay, let's first compare the euros. Okay, if we compare the euros first, let's say we have 10.50 and the value of 5.9t. First of all, we are comparing the value of euros. If euros is less, then obviously they are less. If not, then we're going to compare cents value, right? And if cents is if euros is already there, then that's fine. If euros is equal, then we'll be comparing cents. Okay, so let's do that. If this dot euros is greater than compared dot euros, then what we're gonna have, we are already gonna have that our object is less than, right? So less than, okay, less than euros, then we're gonna return true. Otherwise, if this condition is not correct, then this dot cents is less than compared dot cents, then also we're gonna have return true statement. Otherwise it's a false statement. So let's try and do this, and let's just delete this, and let's give it a tab. What just happened? B less than C. Let's uncomment that. So this must be like, this is supposed to be our true statement, no? So let's run this and see if we get this correct. False and true. Okay. Now moving on to part 3, minus. Write the method public money minus money decreaser, right? Public money minus. So first of all, let's create the method public money. Oh, sorry. I have to write this code right here. Yeah. So public money minus then since it's money, we have to return, let's say, minus object. Okay, and let's define this minus object. This is of type money minus object that equals to new money, and let's give it a value of 10, 5 for now. Okay, and money, what does it say? Minus money decreaser. Okay, it's a money decreaser. Okay, that's better, I think. No, that's not redundant. Okay, now here write the method public money minus that returns a new object with the difference of the object whose method was called and object received as the parameter. If the difference would be negative, the worth of the created money object is set to 0. So we have 10 and 3. So A minus B results in like 650, right? €6, 50 cents. Okay. What if we do C minus A? Then it just happens to be this. Okay. A new money object is created and is placed at the end of the strand connected to C. At the end of the strand, depends on the Java garbage collector. Takes care of it, is what's given here. Okay, yeah. So now let's go in our code. So we have new money object, right? So what we are gonna do is let's also define like we have our object, so this what we can do is use this very method and compare. So if that's already like a false statement, then what we can do is we can simply return false, right? So if this dot less than, let's call the function less than, right? Less than yeah, decreaser. So this is a if condition. So if this is less than, then what we're going to do is we are going to return the minus object, but minus object, but the condition is that if it's less than, then we should be returning, what we should be returning is, now our minus object must have a value of new money with a value of 0 0, right? But this is not defined yet, so let's define this right here. Now instead of assigning it with a value of 10, 5, what we have to assign is assign this dot euros and this dot cents, right? Okay, so first of all, let's copy our code right here. Okay, and let's just paste it on top of this. Let's uncomment that, delete that, and give it tab spacing. Okay, so first of all, after that, okay, let's do that. Now else we have to do the mathematics and return the new object. So let's define a condition to check since if it is not less than, then if this dot sense is less than decreaser dot sense, then what we're going to do, okay, so imagine we have a value of, what value do we have here, 10 0 350, okay, 10.0 comma 3.15. so if we are subtracting, if it is not less than this, right, so but this value, even though it is greater than, then we are having a negative value of 50 here. So what we do in that case is, if this dot sense is less than decrease that sense, what we are going to do is, since we cannot use the value of the final variable, what we can do is define a new variable in sense is equals to this dot sense, right, plus 100, right, and then sense is equals to sense minus decreaser dot sense. Okay, similarly int euros is equals to this dot euros minus 1 now, and euros is equals to euros minus decreaser dot euros. Okay, if this is the condition, else our condition will be simply, I think it would be better to define this variable in the upper bracket here. this dot cents, and let's define int euros is equal to this dot euro, so I don't have to define them twice in here. So all I can do is cents equals to cents plus 100, right? And cents equals to cents minus decreaser dot cents, and similarly euros is equals to euros minus 1. And let's do this. Oh, let's comment that. Okay, else what we have to do is simply cents is equals to cents minus decreaser dot cents, and euros is equals to euros minus decreaser dot euros. Okay, and then we're gonna have minus object is equals to new money with type euros, sorry, with parameters euros and cents. Okay, I think this quite solves our problem. So since I've already copied, let's try and run this. Oh, we are not doing something right. Okay, we have printed A is correctly, B is also correct, but C 650 must be there, but we are getting 0.00. Why are we getting 0.00? This is only possible if we are entering this loop, right? A written statement closes the method. Why are we entering this method? We have not implemented less than correctly. Let's check if this dot euros is okay. Let's check with 10 and 3.50. So 10, 3.50. Okay, let's do that. So if this dot euros is less than 3, then we are returning true. Okay, that's nice. So what if okay, so after this condition, what we are checking is what we are checking here is if this does not hold, but 0 is less than 50 holds, so we are getting a true return statement here. So in order to correct that, we can simply do this dot euros, this dot euros is equals to compare dot euros, right? And okay, otherwise we are getting a false statement. So I think this should now solve our problem. Let's do this and let's see. Okay, yeah, now we have certainly got the desired result. Let's try and submit this. All tests have passed on the server. So thank you for watching. If there are any questions related to this solution, you can ask me down in the comment section. I'll see you guys on the solution of the next video. Thank you.